It's really meaningful to have a show and have people actually want to come and see your artwork. If you're like me, you spend a lot of time in your basement painting, so you really don't get out around people as much as you should. And so to have people come to your opening show means a lot. And to have a showcase, because a lot of these paintings aren't where people can see them on a regular basis. So that's very important. In this particular show, I had models from the James S. Taylor Memorial Home for my Elderly Women series. And the social director there told me that after I photographed these women, that some of them changed. They wanted to dress up every day. And it really helped their self-esteem that they had this little bit of attention and made their life a little more worthwhile. The medium I use is oil paint. I've been working with oil paint since I was a young child, when I first started taking art lessons. This type of oil paint that I use is called a water miscible oil paint, which means you can clean up with water and you don't use turpentine as a medium. But I also experiment in other media, mixed media, such as oil pastel and pen and ink, and use it kind of as a watercolor background. As far as oil painting, I love the color that you can use, and also the way one color flows into the next color. When I started painting, there wasn't a lot of choices as what media you could take lessons to use. So that was where I started, and that's the media I still love to use. There's a big versatility with oil paint. You can use it as a watercolor, you can use it as opaque paint and paint very thickly. You can use a combination. So the type of media it is, you can use in a great variety of ways. As far as conveying your message, I think the entire content of the artwork conveys your message, that color is part of that, but also the way you use your brush strokes, the way you create the whole composition. You begin by taking photographs. Of course, at the very beginning, you start with your concept, and then I take photographs of my subjects, and then I combine a lot of these photographs together. I make sketches, I enlarge them to the canvases, and the artwork in itself can change many times in the process. You know, you don't always end up with what you think you're going to create to begin with. It kind of takes on a life of its own. So color is part of that, shape and space and the sketching, it all enters into conveying the message that you want to tell and communicate with your artwork. Well, in the process of painting, I think the best thing for an artist to do is to get away from your work so you can be more objective about what you're working with. Especially if you're working on it all day, day after day, you really need to get away from it. And I encourage my students to get away from their work, even as they're working, you know, get up and get away, get 10 feet, 20 feet back. So if you do that, you come back with a whole new outlook when you come back to look at your artwork. And so you can immediately see the things that you want to change. And one of the things that I constantly ask myself when I'm painting, is this really what I want to say? So if I keep asking myself that question, then I can narrow down on the painting what I really want to communicate. There's many times that I start over and wipe out, and paint over, you know, to get the result that I want. Last year I did a show where I focused on figurative artwork that had to do with mannequins being kind of the icon of our culture as far as who we should look like. And I noticed that I could also do this same theme with the elderly women, because we focus so much on the youth in our society and what we should look like, that the elderly woman is kind of ignored and put aside. And I think she should be focused more on for the character that she is and what she has contributed to society. I've only lived here 6 years, and living in South Florida, you live with a lot of a different architecture than you do here in Louisville. And so, of course, when I came here, I immediately noticed the Victorian homes and the older buildings on Main Street, and I just fell in love with them. However, being a figurative artist, I don't paint with straight architectural lines, so I wanted a way to incorporate this into my work. So I decided to try and use kind of a fisheye lens approach and a worm's eye view, and this gave my work a lot more curvilinear lines and more flowing colors, similar to a figurative type drawing. So I was able to take something that I really appreciated here in Louisville and incorporate it into my technique and my style. I've been very fortunate in that I've been able to help some of the community services such as Project Women. I also have some artwork hanging at the Center for Women and Families. And I just had a piece that will be hanging in the new Children's Care Center at U of L, and that was supported by the Commission for Women there. And this all started with art competitions that Project Women has every year. And what you can do is you can donate 50% of your profit for your painting if it's sold in their art competition. So this kind of led to other things, and I've been able to have contact with organizations that support women and want to have artwork hanging in their facilities that support women. So that's been one way I've been able to reach out to the community, and it's really been a blessing to me because these are things that are important to me. So I've appreciated the fact that I could contribute that way and have my paintings hanging in their facilities. And I'm also a teacher at Assumption High School, and it's a great school to work at. They've been very supportive as far as the arts, and I teach just drawing and painting, which is very unusual for an art teacher. A lot of times you have to teach all media, but they're supportive in that way, and they know that's my specialty. So they've allowed me to work with the girls there and increase their abilities and skills by teaching them the things that I know best. I think there's a great art community here, and it offers so much more than South Florida did for me. I joined Pyro Gallery about 2 years ago, and they've been very supportive. They're a great group of talented artists, and this really gives you an opportunity to showcase your work. Every 2 years, each artist is allowed to have a one-person show. So we have meetings, we have committees, we're very supportive of each other. In fact, the entire town of Louisville, I feel, is a great art center.